Where are the animals?
We didn't bring any.
We were not allowed. We were not allowed. Det er da lidt anderledes.
Morgentur i Central Park og så til hundegudstjeneste.
Oh, really?
Welcome to St. Peter's, Chelsea. Chelsea being a neighborhood in downtown Manhattan. For a long time, well, for a couple of hundred years, New York City was all way down by the seaport. There was a little town north of New York City called Greenwich. It's now called Greenwich Village, or just the village. And then north of Greenwich was farmland and countryside where many wealthy people who lived in the city or in Greenwich had country houses. So when this house, or when this church building was founded, this was all countryside and some farmland, and it wasn't even gridded out yet. The founder of this church, actually there were three founders. They were all professors at the seminary, which you can, kind of the brick building hidden by the trees, is the General Episcopal Seminary, which is the only seminary of the Episcopal Church funded by the entire Episcopal Church. The Episcopal Church being the Anglican Church in America. The Anglican Church being the Church of England scattered around the world. That's who we are. We are an outpost of the, you might say, the Church of England here. So now you can see the windows better, including these that aren't lit very well this time of day. In 1831, three professors from the seminary decided that it would be nice to have a church north of Greenwich. And so they met together, and the very first services of this parish were actually held in the chapel at the seminary. Soon thereafter, building began for the rectory. And the rectory, actually, where you were today, was part of the chapel. Notable and pathetic services ever held in St. Peter's was that in connection with the Titanic disaster on Sunday morning, April 20th, 1912. Special prayers, lessons, and psalms had been appointed by Bishop Greer. The Bishop of New York had sent out recommended prayers and readings for the Episcopal churches in the diocese, and these were used. Under any circumstance, the service must have been a moving one, but it was made intensely so by an appeal which reached the rector only a half hour before church time. It came in the form of a letter from one of the officers of the steamship Celtic, asking if about 100 men, stewards, sailors, and others might take part in the services, and stating that the men were perfectly willing to stand if there should not be room enough for them in the pews. The pews were all rental pews for a long time. And for 100 people to pour in and take pews that other people had paid good money for wasn't deemed proper. So the captain said, "My men are willing to stand." But of course, when they came, the church folk gave up their pews in honor of the sailors who were present. Word was immediately sent back that the people of St. Peter's would most cordially welcome them and give them the best seats in the church. This was accordingly done, and the pew holders were amply repaid for their courtesy for such a soul-inspiring singing of the hymns, "Eternal Father, strong to save," and "Nearer My God to Thee," made famous by the Titanic because it was sung over and over repeatedly as the ship was sinking, "Nearer My God to Thee," played by the band. The men of the sea, a few of them survivors of the Titanic, also joined freely in the chanting of Psalm 90 and 130. And anyway, welcome to St. Peter's. And any questions? Okay. I'll stand here and ask you anything.
A black lab? Yes.
Black, yes, black. So I'm missing. When I see dogs, I'm missing.
Yeah, when I started to move around and people behind you. Yeah, Tarantula, another one came in.
Has broken like the first morning, blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for the springing, fresh from the spring.
Where there is despair, hope.
Where there is sadness, joy.
O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console.
To be understood as to understand.
To be loved as to love.
Where
have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and surrender my body to the flames, but have not love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. I can attest to that.
To read, I'm just going to read a poem from my last book, In Sunset Land with You, which is basically a little bit further. Okay. It's basically about me when I was 10 years old and pretty crazy. I haven't changed much. This is from In Sunset Land with You. The poem is called I Like Pretend. I like pretend. Ma is a wild elephant, and Pa is a wild elephant too. I am I, their baby wild one. We amble deep into the jungle in search of elephant food. We stop to nibble on elephant food, and we bathe upon cool lake waters. Ma and Pa lay down in the tall green grasses and nuzzle and guzzle each other. I like to watch them nuzzle and guzzle each other in the tall green grasses. I like to watch them for hours and hours by the blue lake waters in the tall green grasses. And I saw a chihuahua eat a sheep once and then knit himself a sweater. He says you got a secret. A chihuahua can tell if you've got a secret. A chihuahua can smell your secret in you and spell it out. I'm gonna tell on you, sucker. Chihuahua whispers when we go for a walk. Sometimes I just want to kill my little chihuahua, but I love him too much. At night, while we sleep together, and he howls at the moon in my ear, I just want to kiss him all over. My chihuahua, my dear.